So tell me, you were playing in the club when you were about 15, right?
And it was pretty funny, like before turning 18, I managed to open for like Fista's Mixwa,
Nice.
Casper New Vest, Major League, Christos, Vinny, Monique Bingham. And now we take a video and people think we just captured the moment. You know how we're going home to Shazam.
What song was that?
We want the track. We come here for business. My whole thing, like whether it's music I put out, whether it's a mix I put out, whether it's a show performance, like where I started with you, from where I'm playing that last song, we must have traveled.
What you putting out, you feel good about, you do something with it and it does something for somebody else.
Yeah.
What happens after you put it out is none of your business.
Yeah, that's God in the universe.
Yeah.
Boom. Support from like Shimza, playing
Nice.
it in Dubai, Lemon and Herb,
Nice.
Hyena, like worldwide support. Kasango was like one of the first people to drop the song and
Nice.
support it. Was like Cairo, playing it at fucking June,
Yeah.
which was also like iconic, like
Yeah,
June
man.
Club Paris, like what the fuck. And her aesthetic, she has this big like poofy afro almost. And my mate was like, can I touch your hair?
No. Yes.
I'll take one person that comes to me and says, bro, that saved my life, over a full house of people dancing.
Could you give me one moment that you feel was like a standout moment for you?
Like shit, like I think
It all starts with a feeling.
Welcome to Roots FM with your host, Kamanga.
Hello everybody and welcome to Roots FM. I have got a very, very special guest today, a personal friend of mine and a very good DJ and producer in the game. Funny enough, he's actually started DJing since he was 13 years old. 13 years old. And he is the host of Africa Distinct for Tans Gemeinschaft. Did I say it right?
yeah.
Tans Gemeinschaft in Belgium. He is also released on labels like Calamar Records. He's released on iMusica and most recently on Universal Music Group. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming Zee Essential.
Bless, brother. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Such a blessing to be part of this. Thank you.
For sure. And he's my first guest on the show. And I think it was really fitting. We were sitting one day doing a recording at his house. And his set, which if you haven't watched already, you guys really need to go check it out. He did a special, beautiful set, old school set with CDs on CDJs, right?
Yeah.
And when he started doing that, I just saw that this was the perfect opportunity to start Roots. I've been speaking about Roots with Zee for such a long time, and it just manifested as it was. And I'm so glad to have you up on here as our first guest. So thank you so much for joining us, man. I really appreciate
brother.
it.
Like honestly, such an honor to be here for Roots FM, the first guest for the show. Like such a blessing, and yeah, like it really happened super organically.
Yeah.
The way this whole thing came about, like it's something you told me about, like as a concept, very, very long ago. And when we met up to do that recording of that set, I wanted to do something that was also touched on my roots of where I came from as a DJ and as an artist, and immediately like it clicked that, but like this is exactly what the concept of Roots is that you wanted to do. And like such a blessing to be on the show with you. Yeah,
for sure, man. And just for you guys that don't know, Zee has worked with some of the top artists and growing artists right now, such as Jordan Arts, Banshapa, Cornelius, just to name a few. He has also headlined shows in London, UK, Nairobi, Kenya, and also played in Amsterdam. And I love the fact that he is one of the youngest DJs to be featured on the iconic Ashmid Hour with Oscar Mbo.
Yeah.
Right?
Throw it back. Yes, sir.
And that's how far back you've been DJing, right?
Yeah, like it's been an incredible journey. I think like started at 13. That's when my brother like introduced virtual DJ and like Tractor to me. And he's like, yo, look at this like program. You can like mix songs together, and just musically already like the background, just to give you like a brief like intro, like musically growing up, like from my dad's side, it was a lot of like he had a huge collection of like vinyls. So it was a lot of like the classics from Michael Jackson to like Pink Floyd, Lionel Richie, UB40, like Bob Marley, like a whole array and like of like music and like different genres. And then from my brother, that was like my introduction like to like hip hop, to R&B, to soul, to house music, as like to Kwaito, to like like to the sound that I like started from, like when I started playing like that. My brother was a big influence and introduction to that, because he's much older than me. So like when I was still like in school and stuff, he was already like attending like the parties that were like
nice,
where like Shimza was playing, or DJ Fresh was playing. It was like a 5FM party, and he would always come back with like music and like, yo, they played this track, and would always like share the music with me. And that's how like I kind of built or at least rather how my collection started, from just being groomed with like I remember him bringing home like Fresh House Flavor Volume 1. I mean, the album released in 1998. I was 2 years old when that released. And then I remember being in 13, like him reintroducing that album to me. A specific song actually, Shena Let the Beat Hit Him, original 12-inch mix, which is on that compilation. Iconic song. And that was like, shit, like this is the type of stuff that like I want to play and that I love listening to, that really just connects with me. And that was like the start. And then like from 13, all those many years later to now, it's been an absolute dream come true, like doing this and living this as like my life and my career.
Yeah. So tell me, you were playing in the club when you were about 15, right?
Yeah.
Talk me through that, because you started DJing when you were 13 or so and got into it properly and started playing in clubs when you're 15, but you're underage.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So that's the little benefits of like being from a small town. So originally,
you're from Witbank.
Yes.
Yeah.
So originally born, raised, finished school in Witbank, which is now called Emalahleni, in a province called Mpumalanga. Very small town, farm town, a coal town. A lot of coal mining happens there. So like the scene wasn't, for example, as big as what, for example, like now in Johannesburg or Cape Town is. It was very like underground, but at the same time you had, certain really dope acts, or like people that we look up to would come through to play. They would have internationals and stuff. So it's like started off playing around, and then once I turned 15, it was my first show at like Capello's in Witbank. And I still remember so I used to play like almost like back to back with a mate, and I still remember we came with like this whole proposal like to this guy, the manager at the time at Capello, and we're like, yo bro, like we like really hungry, like we just wanna, we don't give a fuck about like payment and stuff, we just want the chance to play music and like just rock. And like, I mean, just chatting with the guy, I think he just saw like, just the hunger in our eyes and like just the passion that we had for this music thing. And he was like, yeah, sure, like I have a slot open tonight, come through at 8, you play 8 to 9, and if I'm happy with it, then you guys can carry on for the rest of the night to
Nice.
Close off the night. Didn't have anybody that was booked that day, so it was like completely open that time. So then literally showed up for the gig later that day, and like, fuck, this was like the first gig, was also the first time playing on like CDJs. So it was like,
Damn.
best, like the mistakes happen and stuff, but obviously you learn from that. So remember they were like Newmark CDJs,
Damn.
which like now if you play on those,
Might not read your USB.
and, if you have a wave on there, unfortunately that thing is not going to read your song, just MP3s, and that's when like started playing on like CDs.
Yeah.
That was that whole era, like when I mean, anybody like from Black Coffee to Shimza, they would like, after the vinyl era, like it was the CD pouch era where guys would copy like the music they collected on CDs. So you'd rock up with that little slapper case of yours. And yeah, that's that collection that I also played the set for Roots for is like started from the first CD was like copied at like 15 till about 19 years. Till I was like 19, So that was the Zee Essentials collection from that 15 to 19, I think, the last CD I copied until like I fully went onto USBs playing like on CDJs and at clubs was 19. And it was like an amazing like experience starting up, like when you like get into doing this like as like now a job and like now this is your career, that hunger sometimes dies down or dips down a little bit because you just have the other stresses of like, fuck, I need to pay for this or just money and bills in life. And you kind of lose that a little bit. But like looking back then was like, we were hungry for this game. And I'd start off playing those early sets. And then, I mean, after the first set, I still remember we played that first hour from 8 to 9 and like we messed up and we like went back. Like we went and like reconvened and we're like, come on, we gotta do this like to impress. It's like our one and only shot, and went back and like rocked. I guess it was just like also divine intervention that the songs just flowed, and that's how I started learning. And then from there was this guy used to book me and my mate for like shows whenever like guys would come through that were like from Joburg or Cape Town, international guys. And like to answer your question, like being underage, it was like, okay, look, I can't pay you guys because firstly, like you can't be on like our pay roster, you're underage obviously, but we can offer you food and some cokes for while you're there, and be like, say less, like we don't even care, like give me water, like give me nothing, I don't care, I just want to play. Like that was the dream and the hunger. Like from 13, like me just being in front of CDJs was like, oh fuck yeah, like dream come true. Like, and to be in this position now where it's like the job and like what you do, it's like what a like literal dream come true. Like many years of praying and manifestation of dreaming to be in the position that I'm at now. And it used to be like we'd play the set, get a couple cokes or like chips, so they give us wings. And it used to be funny, like from 15 till 18, when I would play in Witbank, I managed to play and open for like quite a few big acts. And even in between school, like I had this deal with my mom where like, okay, even if it was exam times and I had a show, it was like, okay, you study the whole day and then play a show and you come back, you have to study again. And it was pretty funny, like managed to like open for, before turning 18, I managed to open for like Fista's Mixwa, Casper New Vest, Major League, DJ Whiskey, Christos, Vinny, Monique Bingham, and like getting to play before these artists that you used to like at that age, and like just a kid, you're like, oh my God. Like,
exactly.
Eyes are like shining, you're like, oh my God, you're in the presence of this person. Leave the fact that you're like playing and on the stage at such a young age with these people. And like, funny thing is like shortly after dropping a set with them, it's like my mom is chilling in the parking lot waiting for me to fetch me, to take me back home. And then that was like the start, like 15, and then like come 16 when I got like my learners, again, like don't do this, I don't advise this, it's against the law, but my mom used to give me like the car to drive with just my learners. Again, the benefits of a small town, I don't recommend doing this stuff now. It's illegal, it's against the law, you'll get locked up or fined. But like used to take the car, and like the nice thing was like my dad like knew like a lot of like the cops and stuff there, so even if I did get stopped, they're like, you this, it's you, boy, go. So just go home safe. And like obviously didn't do like reckless things, like there was obviously no drinking or alcohol involved, so it's just like just to get to the show back. So then from there, like getting my learners and then transitioning to getting like eventually my license, then was like, okay, you just go to the shows when you want. It's free reign now. And like it was amazing, right? And then my brother and sister, as I mentioned earlier, my brother being a lot older, my sister as well, they moved to Joburg and they were like already like working and stuff, and like starting their first jobs as well, like in Joburg, while I was still in school. So every holiday for school holidays, I'd come to Jersey. And then eventually, like, there's a capello that used to be on at the Buzz on Witkorp.
Yeah, I know that one. You played there?
Yeah.
Damn.
So this was like 16 going into 17. Where eventually I was like, I reached the point where like, okay, now I'm like, I can play on CDJs.
Yeah.
Like I've had enough experience. Like there's no mistakes. Like now you're playing. Like you mean it. I still remember same approach. Went there in the day. My brother still took me, and then he goes like he walks in with me, and then like it just so happened like the fucking resident was like there. And I'm like, yo, bro, like same thing. Like just wanna play, like just a chance, like any slot, even if it's when you guys are fucking cleaning up and setting up the tables before it opens. Even if I play then, like I'll be over the moon. Like that's already mission accomplished for me. And they're like, nah, sure, like pull through. Again, same thing was a capello, and was like, okay, let's, like, you'll open for me, play from like 6 to like 8, and then again they'll do the same thing where like, okay, if you like what you played, you'll play again later. So again, like came and like rock that fucking thing. And then like from there I got to start with those guys with the residents at Capella. I got to start to play in Joburg from like 16, 17 because like I wouldn't really get bounced from like the clubs and stuff because I was with them. Yeah. And they were like residents at the like places here. So it would be like, yo, come through, I'm playing a set, like you'll open for me, or you'll play back to back, you'll take my slot. And like from there, like I remember playing in like Rosebank, there was a place called Niche, from like Capello and Gandhi Square in town to like News Cafe in Newtown, Hard Rock Cafe, and still like that even like News Cafe in Woodmead. I remember like a time there, and from then like I would also like play. I still remember at that time like these homies. I don't know if you remember Twins and Dicks. Yeah. They were doing like this run with these same homies that I was with, and like I kind of like did like a mini like tour with them and like the places they would play. And again, like at such a young age, getting to open for like crazy guys that you're just looking up to the industry and not like, you know, thinking like anything of it. You just like right now in that moment, like, fuck, this is the dream come true. And like that's how I projected. And like to also go back to what you're saying about the Ashmed hour, like damn, like big ups to Oscar and Bo, like for sure. Big inspiration, big motivation, like in just even like the way he plays and like the way he DJs, his individual way of DJing like influenced the way I play a lot. And like that was the thing, like from like 15 or so, he would also, because his hometown and Witbank is like super close, so he would be a lot in Witbank. You'd play like shows there, like you play at the Capello, and they like mates of ours that were like the big DJs in the town. They would host like this thing at like I can't remember if it's still called Puma Stadium, but it was like a stadium that we had in Witbank. And they would bring like Sakes Mantwini would come then, like Da Capo, Julian Gomes, like Christos, Vinny, like they'd bring like huge guys, Ralph Gam, and like Oskambo, or like, and them like Oskambo, Lindo, Kev, Ezra, all these guys that are like doing so amazing right now, that's still, you know, inspiring and still like raising the bar, like fuck, like look how these guys are doing now. And I remember like one of my first interactions with Oscar was like he played this track, and it was still unreleased at the time. It was, what's the song called? I don't know if you know it. Garth and G-Rail, Dark still produced that song with that broken beat. Crazy tune, and like it was still unreleased at the time, and then Oscar dropped it, and we like just went crazy. And after be like, bro, what is the song? Like, bro, you need to plug us. Like, and he's like, dude, here's the song, whatever. And then like would nag him like later on. Back then was also like that era of like BBM and like all of that
Yeah,
shit. So
yeah.
like would
Mix
message him, like,
it.
same time, bro. That's all. Please. It's like, nah, no stress. I'll send it to you. I'll copy it for you, whatever. And like from then was like constantly like sending like just mixes, and he would also like help you like, nah, bro. Like if it wasn't right, he wouldn't shut me down. But
Yeah.
he'd be like, nah, bro. Like work on that transition, or like, and also like I would listen to a shit ton of like the mix. Like every time he dropped a mix, whether it was local mix, main mix, Ezra on guest mix, him on guest mix, whatever, like I'll just consume and just listen.
Yeah.
Like how my man's playing like on CJ 100s, and those transitions are like, yo, clean.
Yeah.
And then eventually like got to be on the show eventually when I did a guest mix. This was, I think, the first one was 16 when I got to be a guest on the first show. And then I got to be a guest again at 19.
Nice.
And it's so crazy, like the way God and the universe works. Like at that time, yes, in like Pretoria, because those guys were like eating it up there, like House 22 days, like they were regulars. And like seeing how, like back then, like not, like especially like when I came here and I started studying here in Pretoria, like not a lot of people knew about the Ashmed Hour. Like not necessarily in Pretoria, but like the people I hung around with didn't know about it.
Yeah.
When it was like such a deep culture
Yeah.
thing, like mad following and like crazy guests. Like this guy would bring like Rich Medina
Exactly.
on like a guest mix, and like people like, yo, who's
How?
this guy from America? Like
With this deep voice on
Yeah.
this. I remember that.
those voiceovers, like
Yeah.
you'd have crazy people like. And I think he was also like very much like a pioneer, and like also showcasing like people to all the guys that were coming up with him as well.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like it was also like my introduction to like Chima music,
Yeah.
or like all those guys, like and then like from there it was after like 19 or so, like when I was still in varsity, like it kind of, I started not playing that much when like from like 19, when I was like in varsity days, just with like campus and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like I was just still like learning and exploring, like going to parties and stuff. But I was still like, yo, I want to play here, I want to
Yeah.
play there. And then like eventually started to get bookies when I was in varsity.
Yeah.
And I remember meeting like the guys, the homies from, they run like Wildline now.
Okay.
Like
Jared.
Romario,
Yeah.
Bongani Zulu, like
Yeah.
they were like the first to like start booking me in like Pretoria.
Okay, nice.
That was like Jolly Rogers.
Yeah.
And they owned this like dope fucking venue that was like on that strip that also played like a couple times at. And that was like my introduction to start to play in Pretoria. And like
Sure.
there was a period of time where I was gigging a lot in like Pretoria because of these guys, and that even led to like summits and stuff.
Nice.
And then towards like my final year of varsity, like I repeated like a year of varsity, and that year that's when I like linked up and met with like Ryan Murgatroyd.
Okay, nice.
And that's when that like internship and like mentorship like happened. So that final year, like you didn't see me on campus. Like,
Yeah.
I go there to write my semester test or write my exam,
Yeah.
driving straight back from Pretoria to the studio here in Joburg, and like
Yeah.
would just absorb and like sponge, like sit in the studio with this guy. He's engineer as well, or rather former engineer Mark Vaseki, still GOATs, OGs
Yeah.
of the game right now. Like that guy's pure genius. Like just his knowledge in like engineering and like a musical form, and like making your song sound 10 times better.
Yeah.
And enhancing like that vision or that feeling that you had,
Yeah.
that you put in the song initially. Like learned so much from them.
Nice.
And like from there also, like still, I think like from a very young age I was very like tapped into the industry, and even like
Sure.
friends wise, like
Yeah.
the people that I would even like hang out with and chill with were like also sometimes big,
Yeah.
prominent people in the game already. Like I remember even before like meeting Ryan, I was like would be like chill with like Jazzwell, and
Yeah.
like he was also such a big, like Jazzwell was one of the guys that put me onto like Bonobo. Like
Nice.
he was such a also big influence in like just the way he also used to start his sets, was like this whole cinematic like introduction, like He'd drop like a Leon Vinahall. Like I remember he did, I'm not sure if it was his Boiler Room set or some crazy guest mix he did, or like back then like Lars used to do the
Deeper Shades of the House.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or if it was that set, and he dropped this track, it's by Leon Vinahall, Inside the Deku Tree,
Okay.
which it starts off with just like this violin piece.
Nice.
It's literally the whole song's
I
like
think
a
I know
violin
that
piece.
track. Yeah.
And like from there, it transitioned it into like a 4/4
Yeah.
track, and I was like, that shit blew me away. Like,
Nice.
was this whole like cinematic rise into like now we dancing. Also big influence. Like got to see like went with him to like Opi Kopi when he was playing like Red Bull stage, and I got
That's
to
dope.
see like the scale of like how this and that guy and that time like he was like just played like Sona Festival and
Yeah.
stuff. Like he was also like at the peak or like really blowing up at that time, and like also from there got to like go to certain parties with him, and then like got to meet like Transmix Soul, and like he was also a very big like influence and like just crazy DJ. Like
Yeah.
there used to be before I get into like what I was about to say now, like there used to be this show, I don't know if you remember back in the day, called Hit Refresh.
Yes.
The entertainment,
With DJ Strategy.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
like the dopest of dopest guys used to come spin.
I used to wait for that show, bro.
Like if you could like before it was even like the recording, like
Yeah.
you used to stay up till, and then it used to be like 11 to like the AM.
Yeah.
Stay up just to watch it. When I moved to like started studying Pretoria, moved to Joburg, it was like I didn't know a lot about like the electronic music
Yeah.
in terms of like the broader spectrum of it. Like for me, like my upbringing was like deep soulful house.
Yeah.
That Vinny sound, that like Christos sound, like
Yeah.
that was what I was raised on, and that's what I knew.
Yeah.
Like a lot of also like commercial stuff, like back when like you had like Uhuru and like
Yeah.
those guys, or Heavy K and stuff, like you play those kind of sounds. And then started like partying here, like varsity days in Pretoria, and like remember going to like Toy and stuff back when it was still in like this crazy venue where you'd like walk down.
Yeah.
Like it was a complete, wasn't that where it is
Nah,
now?
not in Newtown. It was
Yeah,
somewhere.
not in Newtown. It was
Yeah.
the space just before Newtown, and like
Yeah.
started hearing like techno and stuff, and that was like
Yeah.
mind blown. And to go back to what I was saying about the Hit Refresh thing, I remember there was this set that Trance played, and he dropped a song by David August called Epikur,
Okay.
Epikur, and like that song till today like was like the song that sculpted and molded my entire sound that I like love and do now. Even
Nice.
the sound that I resonate in like creating and like playing, like that sound of that record like blew me away.
Nice. What was it about that song?
Everything, like
Yeah.
the chord progression, it's an instrumental, no vocals on it, the drums, the synthesis, the mix, the tension, like crazy record. And when I heard it the first time, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Like I haven't heard like music like this before. Like it was completely different from what I was used to hearing. And like, I mean, we would obviously like pick up and listen to like a lot of records like that, but also not deep house and all of that. But like this was the first time that I was hearing something like very melodic and like on that, it's like techno, but it's not as hard as what I was hearing in like Toy or in the clubs, but it was still hitting the same and had this whole like melodic journey, which I think birthed like the melodicness in me now.
Yeah.
And like from then, like that molded into the sound that like I do now.
Sure.
Where like I was very, that shift kind of orientated where like I kind of started also like doing more research and like digging more deeper into like that, at that time what I knew it as with like that more European sound.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That sound that wasn't really played here. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't get a lot of guys that were playing that.
For sure.
And even like where they would drop like the track list for the mixes, like would be like names you didn't know of. Like you'd see the regulars that like you knew, I knew this guy, I know this song, and you'd be like,
who's this?
Who the fuck is David August?
Yeah.
And then you see like the song was released on Inner Visions, and then that
opens another wormhole.
exactly like into now the whole
mean.
education of like Reg with Amir and like those guys like Dixon and like that's a whole nother like world of, and then you like get to learn like Kulo dropping that album on like Inner Visions, being like the first guy, South African or African artist on like that prominent label, and then that's when I started getting more into like those more European-esque sound.
Sure.
The Inner Visions, Dynamic, Solomon's label, even like Kind of Music when like they saw like 2009, like in that rise.
Yeah.
When it was like very like, if the homies know like the song Rampa the Touch.
Yeah.
On that era of that sound.
Yeah.
When that they used to do, like those were like my dream labels that I used to just consume, and like iMusic as well was also like, he used to do this show also on SoundCloud, like this Proton radio show, and he also used to drop like either unreleased stuff or these very melodic sets, and like I used to like Shazam or like search for those songs in those track lists that I could also play it in my sets.
Tell me, did you ever, like Shazam was quite a new thing, did you ever record audio and then try and go home and find it?
Hard, all
the time, right? I've still got stuff even from my old phones.
Now it's like, because we cool now and like we artists now. Now we take a video and then people think we just capture the moment. You know how we're going home to Shazam.
What song was that?
We want the track. We come here for business. We want the track.
Yeah. But like
Roots FM.